Okay, well, thanks everybody for joining us today. We've got Bill Hess and Lori Hess from Hess and Associates. They're one of our multi-line reps that's representing Logo Here Promos, which is one of our newest MVP suppliers that we just added. They're an overseas sourcing company that has some really great opportunities for you. Bill's going to tell us about Logo Here Promos and what they're capable of doing, how to reach them, all the things you need to know. We've got Dave Vanderbloemen, who's from Bear Promotions, one of our newest owners, to talk about his experience with Logo Here Promos. And then we've got a couple housekeeping things at the end. So with that, I'm going to turn things over to Bill to kind of get us started, and we'll go from there.
All right. Good afternoon. Thank you for this opportunity. Hello, all my new AIA friends. So a little bit about me. I've been doing the multi-line rep program for a little over 40 years. And I knew of this company that was out of China through a couple of my distributor friends who they always spoke very, very highly of. Our relationship started. We got a little closer. I ended up starting to reach out and network with Michael Lee and Alice Lee. It's a privately owned company. It's third generation. And they started, 3 generations ago when Grandpa was supplying to the retail markets products. Did that very successfully. Next generation learned of this new category called promotional products about 40 years ago, and then pretty much focused on being the supplier's supplier. Now things have changed. There's a lot more competition out there in the market today. And about 10 years ago, Michael, Alice, and their whole team decided, their success is going to be developing a relationship directly with the distributors rather than selling the suppliers and hoping that they're going to, sell you. So the market's changing, and will continue to change. So what we've got is a direct relationship with a company in China who has equity positions in companies and is very well connected. So Michael and Alice Lee work with over 200 different factories overseas. Now, they have got their fast horses, their strengths, and we'll get into that on maybe the tail end of it. But, I started with this relationship, and it has been an absolutely wonderful relationship. He's very responsive, great communication skills. And the way we've got this set up is, when you go to ASI ZSP or you go to Sage or you go to the logoherepromos.com website, you're going to see 6,200 items. That's a lot of product, okay? So the phone number there is the phone number that I answer. I speak English, and I can help you put these programs together. Michael and Alice, they also speak English, and they are always available. They can call you whenever it's convenient for you. I don't know. I honestly don't know when Michael sleeps. I mean, this guy is always on his game. I usually like to call him around 7 o'clock in the evening, which is 7 o'clock his time, but it doesn't matter. You tell us what's convenient for you or for your customers, and we're there for you, okay? So, as far as who these people are, they're a very, very successful trading company, but he's kind of a hybrid because he has equity positions in factories and he knows a lot of people. His lead time is shorter. His prices are better. He's just a really good fit. Now, you've got a lot of options. You've got your favorite suppliers. Just look at bags as an example. In order to be competitive, you've got to drill down and work with these factories directly. What you realize, and you guys know this, is when you're buying bags from a manufacturer in the States, who's really, in my opinion, not a manufacturer because they don't have sewing machines, they have decorating capabilities. They're buying the bags from us or from people like us, and they're stepping on 40%. So, you just lost your competitive advantage. So I guess my suggestion is you give us options. You can look at our website and you can see the prices on there. It's always important. It's always important to ask for a quote. Our quotes are going to be good for 30 days. Our quotes are going to be door to door. We figure out the deliveries for you, and I'll get more into that. So what we do is we want to just take and give you good, accurate information. So, but why don't we start with our questions and.
Bill, what's the difference between working with a U.S. supplier versus working with our overseas partners?
So there's more similarities than there are differences. Oftentimes there's some reservations working with an overseas company because of the language barrier, but Michael speaks English. There's hesitation because of the lack of communication. We don't have that issue. He communicates very, very well. When you ask for a quote, you're going to get that quote within 24 hours. Generally, you can get it that same evening because of the time difference. So what we realize is, like right now, it's like 1 o'clock Central, which is about 1 o'clock in the morning. So Michael, Alice, they've got a family, they've got kids, they're at home, they're sleeping. However, he's at the office at 6 o'clock, which is about 6 o'clock our time. So oftentimes you hear from him yet that evening, but for sure the next morning. And if there's a reason why he can't drill down and give you all of the information that you're looking for within 24 hours, you're going to hear from him, and he's going to tell you, I'm still researching. This is a little different. It's a custom program, but he's going to give you the answer. But his communications are really good. I guess the difference is the margin structure. You're going to be so much more competitive. You're going to be anywhere from 20 to 40 to 50% less expensive for the identical product. So when you guys are out there looking, let's just say you've done bags or you've done drink or you're looking for a hat, what we need to do is have you go to the website and take a look at what we've got, and or just send us the image. Just say, oh, I'm looking from something from supplier ABC, and it's their item number XYZ, and what we'll do is we'll quote on that, or we'll send you something that's real similar. So the advantage is you've got direct access to all of the factories overseas. Most of the suppliers that you're using right now, they buy from China, they bring it in, they're decorators, they decorate it, and then they ship it. With working with Logo Here Promo, you've got the advantage of working directly with the factories. We're cutting out the middlemen, we're cutting out the other suppliers, so you're buying at a much more competitive price. And we have extremely low minimums. So what I'll do is, as I go through the product part of it, our minimums are really, really low. It's not like you got to buy 10,000 of everything. We've got some pieces here, you can buy 100 pieces. Or if it's something that's sitting in the shelf, that's stock. I just did an order for 50 keychains yesterday, where we just took them off the shelf, lasered them, sent them out. So we've got access to low minimums. But understand that our customer service level is on par or better than a lot of suppliers. Our delivery is on par or better. You take a look at these laminated bags. You take a look at something like this. Can you see this bag? Okay, so now here's an example of a product that needs to be decorated on the cut parts prior to the construction. So when you're going to work with some of these other suppliers, they don't make this stuff. They buy it from us or people like us. So they're calling us, getting the information, and there's always going to be a time delay. And of course, when it comes to the production, you're working directly with the factory that makes the stuff, and we're going to ship it. So it's actually quicker production and faster information in a lot of cases. Okay.
So Bill, you talked about delivery, and earlier you mentioned that it's door to door. What does that mean?
So when we quote you a product, and understand, please, every product has to be quoted, because there's just a lot of variables. So when it comes to pricing, you've got exchange and currency variables, you've got duty, tariffs, you've got freight, you got the actual cost of the product. So what we want you to do is just ask for a quote. The quotes are always going to be good for 30 days. As far as the delivery, depending upon what you buy and how big it is or how many you buy, these are generally the 4 basic options. You've got FedEx, which is 5 to 7 days. So hypothetically, you needed 100 lanyards. Well, we're going to take those, we're going to decorate them in 3 or 4 days, and then we're going to add 5 to 7 day FedEx. So you're at about 10 days for something like that. But if it's a really big order, a bulky order, you may want to look at some of the other options. So you start off with FedEx, 5 to 7 days, which really covers the majority of everything I'm going to show you, because this is like, I put out my 2-week program. Most of everything that you're going to see here, you can get within 2 weeks, door to door. You've got air, which is the next, and that's via UPS, and that's about a 15-day time window, okay? And then we have what we call our fast boat, and that's 25 days. And then you've got your slow boat, which is 45 days. So, if it's going to be a small order, well, you're going to want to FedEx it in. But if it's a big order, and Dave can speak to this later with his experiences. Sometimes we choose to go the slow boat because the customer has the time, and you save so much more money because freight is very expensive. Okay, so you're looking at 5 to 7, 15, 25, or 40 days, but those are options you're given, and you decide based on what your customer needs. Okay, so those are kind of the parameters.
Door to door from their factory to the ship to, no stopping customs. That's
that's some of the other advantages. When we say door to door, we include all of the freight, the duties, the tariffs, any and all expenses that you can imagine that you could possibly incur doing an import order. You don't have to concern yourself with that. We've got people that's all they do is that administrative minutia, and when we quote you a price, that includes the delivery. Okay, you just have to tell us how you want us to deliver it, which time frame. Okay.
I also want to throw in that we do have terms set up with Local Here Promos. We have normal net terms. Anything that's under $20,000 is our standard terms. You're not required to prepay for that order. Anything that's over $20,000, we pay a 50% deposit upfront and 50% at the time of shipping. So generally speaking, anything you're doing that's under $20,000 is not prepaid required, which is very common with overseas shipping, as we know. They require payment up front. So we don't have to worry about prepayments up to $20,000.
And as time goes on and we have more experience and Michael's comfort level starts to increase, so will your credit line.
Yep.
But it's a good start. It's a good start. You got to start someplace, So
Bill, does Local Here Promos do custom orders?
It's probably about a third of my business. Generally your customer has an idea of what it is they're looking for. And, oftentimes we'll get a phone call and they'll say something like, I saw something at retail, and that's what they want us to manufacture. You may not find it on any of the search engines. You may not find it from any of your other suppliers, but we do a lot of customs. I'll give you an example. And if I ever talk about another distributor's business, it's because I have their approval. Okay, I don't talk out of school. So we just did this awesome thing for Ducks Unlimited. It's their new camouflage pattern. So we just did an apron. We did the matching chef hat. We did a spatula. What we did is we CNC cut the duck head into the big paddle part of the spatula. We did a steak flipper, which is like they cut a little pigtail, and we did a tongue. So we did all 5 of these pieces in a real nice presentation box, and it was under $20. And that's something that we had to kit up and put together. Well, the distributor sold it for $75, and it was 2,500 pieces. So you make really good margin when you're doing this stuff from overseas. It's just like, tell us what it is you're looking for. And sometimes you gotta, be descriptive. We like to know, what are you looking for? What is their price point? When's your in hands? Is there any special packaging? Just tell us all the parameters, and we can put those things together. We do a lot of that. We do a lot of that for suppliers. We still sell a ton of suppliers in the industry. You're wondering where these people are getting this product from. Well, they get it from Local Here Promo in a lot of cases, and we're in a position to do a lot of customs. Love customs. Very unique products. Okay?
Awesome. Bill, what about samples? Random samples, spec samples? Can we get samples?
So here's our sample policy, because we know samples are really important. You've got to have samples in a lot of cases. So if it's just a stock sample or something that you see on our website, random samples are at no charge. The only thing we ask you to do is pay for the freight. So oftentimes, go through our website and pick out whatever it is you think you need, and you're looking at, but freight's expensive. For a small little box, it's like $25. It's like the size of a shoebox. So you pay for the freight, but we give you the samples, the random samples at no charge. If you want to do a spec sample, which we like to do spec samples because we want to make sure that your customer doesn't have any of these I thoughts and she said, but could you imagine? So if you do an actual spec sample, they know exactly what the product is going to look like. So in that case, the sample might have a setup charge. Let's just say it's got a $30 setup charge, and then you've got to pay the $25 freight. It's a good investment, but you've already paid for the setup. So when you place the order, there's no more setup. It's just a good insurance policy. It's something I really encourage you to do on the larger orders. Okay.
Very good.
We can do that any size order. Back to the freight a little bit. I want to talk about that. Oftentimes I'll get questions from the distributors, and they'll want to know, well, wait a minute, I've got a FedEx number or I've got a UPS number. Can you use my number? The answer is yes, but you don't want to, Okay, we don't make a profit on freight. Most of the suppliers, most of your U.S. suppliers, are you going to use freight as a profit center? Believe me, I know. I work for several others, but we do not use freight as a profit center. So whatever it costs. But when you ship it from China to the U.S., it's, let's just say hypothetically $25. But if you insisted on us using your FedEx number or your UPS number or your DHL, believe me, it's going to be a couple $100. So you can do the research. And the other thing is this: we do all the paperwork, so you don't have to go through that administrative minutia. Just focus on selling product. We'll take care of all the back end stuff. So freight, it's better just to. And then what we'll do is we'll send the samples out right away.
That's
so
awesome.
Yeah, take a look at our website. So.
Bill, did you want to show a couple products real quick before we jump over to Dave? I know I saw a knockoff of the Lululemon bag.
Oh, okay. Yeah, we could talk about some products, and this is where, Laura, you're going to have to kind of zoom in.
Yeah.
Okay, so when we talk about the bag category, this is one of our fastest horses, and I'll kind of give you some ideas as far as where our strengths are, because we're not talking about 6,200 items here today. So the category of bags for us is extremely strong. So we have a manufacturing facility or two or three. We make the stuff. We have sewing machines. We've got the decorating capability. So when it comes to basic commodity stuff, like something like this, and you guys know what these are. There's just these little non-woven totes. We've got them in lots of different weights. But this is the kind of stuff that we ship over containers full to these other suppliers. And what they do is they decorate it and they ship it to you. However, we can do this for 100 pieces, 200 pieces, just as easily, and we're going to save you 40%. So I'd be looking at his price points, even when it comes to these smaller orders. But when it comes to the more unique things like clear bags, we've got a whole series of these see-through bags, which are very popular. We're selling them in a lot of the schools, the churches, the stadiums. We have a very big line of these clears, which is something that as time goes on, you'll probably get more requests for. But then a lot of like you wanted this Lululemon, you've got to decorate this stuff on the cut parts prior to the construction. So what we'll do is we'll give you a menu of fabrics to choose from, supply us the graphics, and we sew them. But you're going to love our prices. Our prices are awesome. So most of what we do are going to be these fabric style bags. The backpack category and the more sophisticated bags are a big part of what we're doing as well. And then we've got the cotton, we've got the poplin bags. I wanted to show you paper bags. We do a big job in paper. If you've got somebody who wants popcorn bags, hypothetically, your U.S. suppliers raised your prices about 40% here just recently on these paper products. I mean, we so smoke them on price, but you'll find that when you make a price comparison. So for us, that's a big category. And as we go around the room, there's the process of sublimation, and with sublimation you can put that on a whole variety of different things, but we do a lot of products with neoprene. So we've got neoprene in a 3, 5, or 7 ounce. So there's a lot of fun things that you could do with neoprene. We sell a lot of basic little koozie styles that we've got here, but here's a new one that we've got where you can have the koozie around your neck, so this could be a good one for the events. Lanyards for us are very, very strong. We can do about every imaginable fabric and about every imaginable type of decoration, including the woven in styles that we've got. And we're doing this for the NBA, the NHL, the NFL. We're doing this for a lot of Fortune 100 companies. So, they'll oftentimes ask for the compliance information. We've got all that covered. And then, of course, you've got the attachments. So we've got a ton of different attachments. And what you want to do is understand that this is all custom. So you decide what you want, and we'll just build it and send you the pre-production spec sample, or we'll build it and send you an image of the product. And then, you could just sign off on it if you don't want to spend the $25. Somebody's going to buy, whatever, 500 lanyards. They may not want to do a $25 spent on a pre-production sample, but we'll do as much or as little as you want. Okay. Then let's get over here to the drinkware part of it. Now, this is where you want to get it zoomed. Get real close to the drinkware, right? So those of you who like to go to Starbucks, does this look familiar? Yeah. Okay.
Yes, sir.
So now Melissa's going to be putting, there you go. There you go. So we've got a flyer that you guys are going to be getting on this category. So what's nice about this stuff is not only are our price points absolutely out of this world, but you can buy as few as 30 pieces on the plastics. And when you get to the double walled metal styles, we've only got a 48 piece minimum. So low minimums, great prices, fast delivery. This is like a 2-week thing. Okay. And then let's just go through. And then there's lots of smaller products. I don't know what you guys, it's kind of hard, doing this for you guys to see the products, but it's a very extensive line. I want to point out patches. This is a huge part of our business. We supply a ton of suppliers these patches. Okay. And then when it comes to headwear, why don't you do a little zoom on those?
Sorry, guys. Trying to be steady here.
All right. So we've got several cap factories. It's pretty unlimited with respect to what we can do. We've got a lot of stock hats. This is our number 112, and I'm going to show you an example. So this basic hat, you guys are familiar with it. This big popular hat. There's a company out there by the name of Richardson, very, very popular, very good company. And if that's what your customer wants, by all means, sell them what they want. But if they have a position where they just can't afford, that, or they can't wait for that lead time, here's an opportunity for you. And you'll see a flyer on this. And this is where Dave may want to chime in just a little bit, because you've got some experience with.
Excellent segue. I was just going to say, Dave, how's your experience with hats?
Hell, Dave, how was your experience?
So the first project I ever worked on, I'm in Green Bay, Wisconsin. So we're 4 blocks from Lambeau Field. Across the road is another professional football team. It's an indoor football league, the Green Bay Blizzard. Every couple years they come to me and they want to do a custom cap. So I've always gone the traditional routes that I've always been used to for the last decade plus. When Bill showed me this line and my client said, show me something I haven't seen before, I found one. And I literally sent the link from Logo Here Promo to my client, and instantly he found the one he liked. It gave him ballpark pricing as well. So I was able to help him kind of shop, took me out of the equation from that beginning part. And we just started rolling with it. And he picked a trucker cap with the foam front, and he wanted a big, full, splashy image on there. So that's what we started going with. So my client actually designed it based on a template that Michael provided. Michael was able to do virtual mock-ups. We were able to do all the things that you're used to doing. All of a sudden, we started getting pictures and emails from Michael and his team. The design that my client had put together wasn't going to work. I don't know how easy you can see it. There's a seam right here. And the way the design originally was, it was going to be way up here. And so that little inch worth of seam started causing some issues. This is where I started to get impressed, and I realized that this group was way better than any other overseas experience I've had. They started sending me videos. They would literally print out this logo and the wording over here. They were literally cutting it out of paper. They print it, they cut it, they were taping it to sample hats, showing me different placement options. All of a sudden, I woke up one morning, my email was there, and it was a video. They had laid out multiple hats on the floor with all different versions of this layout, took a video of it, explained everything in this video. I was able to send that directly to my client so they could make a decision on what format they wanted to do. They redid the artwork for me based on their suggestion. They did it all for nothing. It was just, I've never had that where they would just kind of take care of that and go. All of a sudden it came time for spec samples. Spec samples show up. This ref center, first one was up like this, second one was down like this, and finally we're trying to get it to go straight, right? I'm in my home office one night. It was a Monday evening, and my cell phone rings, and it said no caller ID. And I'm a former police officer, so when that pops up, that's usually another officer calling me or a police department calling me. Ignored it. Figure if it's important to leave a voicemail. Instantly got a second phone call from a no caller ID. I'm like, all right, something's up. Let me answer it. It was Michael, and he was calling to talk through this project with me. In my 15 years in this industry, working overseas all the time, I have never had a factory rep in China call me to discuss a project, ever. We talked for probably an hour. We talked through all the parameters of this project. I was then able to take bullet points and bring that to my client the next day. My client was impressed that China called me to talk through some of this stuff. So that was kind of my first, like, okay, there's something to this. And originally it was an order for 2,000. Margins were phenomenal. Pricing was great. They couldn't believe it. The facility where this team plays their games got wind of that price. They doubled their order. So it's a 4,000 piece cap order. Because of that, we had the different freight options. We had Ocean Rush, the normal ocean like Bill was talking about. We decided to do Ocean Rush. That was going to be about a 3.5, 4 week shipping time. So from start of this order to delivery, we're talking about 3 months. So your typical freight and your production time on that, but the price was $1 or $2 less. So we were all good with that. Where I'm going with this is I got an email this past Monday morning from Tina on Michael's team. And she said, hey, can we delay this 1 week? She said, these hats were packaged into smaller boxes than expected. One of the boxes, and she didn't send me a picture, but the way she made it describe was some of the hat was literally bent. They caught it before it got put into that container and shipped over. And so I said, absolutely. She said, we have to run these back through a machine to reform them. We'll get them on next week's boat, no problem. So we delayed my delivery by a week. I called my client that morning. I said, hey, quality control caught an issue with these where you were going to get hats that were bent. And they caught it. Again, couldn't believe it. I've never had that happen before with an overseas supplier. So between customer service aspects, quality control, the pricing, this has been a phenomenal experience. And I know I feel like every week I'm telling Bill something new with this group, and that it's just been impressing me to the point I've had a few other big projects that have come along, and it's been a go-to now for these kind of things. So I've dabbled in the headwear side of it. I've dabbled a little bit in the lanyards. We're starting to talk some bags. So slowly but surely getting into it. But, Bill asked if I could just share my experience with that. It's been impressive. And, talking to him even this morning, I don't get this kind of service from some of our domestic suppliers. I think we're all in that same boat. So the fact that halfway around the world, they're doing it right for the price they're doing it and how we can benefit, whether it's for ourselves or our clients, it's just tremendous. To the point even, and this was the other aspect that I'm trying to work on, something where can be put into play. If you're selling to a retail outlet, so if you're selling to gift shops or anything like that, where margins are an issue, most of us have to bring margins down a little bit. This allows you not to have to do that. So keep that in mind when you're thinking retail. You got some time, tap into what they have to offer, because everybody's going to make a little bit more money, including your clients.
That's an awesome experience, Dave, and I'm so happy that the Green Bay Blizzard loved their hats and how they turned out, and that you had a great experience. Just wanted to share real quickly before I jump into our next thing. If you have an opportunity or you have questions about anything, you can reach out to Bill directly. His email is bill@hesspromo.com. That's HESS promo.com. His information is in MVP Central under Logo Here Promos Corp. You can reach out to Bill and he'll help get the ball started. Bill mentioned we've got a couple flyers for you. I'm going to share my screen real quick to show you something real cool we have going on now. I know a lot of you are familiar with how our flyers used to be stored in the Google Drive in the Experience AIA Google Drive. And we are in the process, very slowly I might add, this is a new phase for me, adding all of our flyers to the promo library, which is located in AIA Connect. So when you log into AIA Connect, you go over to our marketing tab and click on promo library. That will bring you to the new location for all of our flyers. You can go into flyers. We've got a section for distributor self-promo offers, which I'm slowly adding new ones to. We've got supplier product flyers. And those two flyers that Bill mentioned, I've got loaded here for headwear from Local Here Promos and tumblers. And you can go in and download that flyer for yourself. There's kind of a snippet of what it looks like. But you can go ahead and download, and it'll download that flyer for you. Another cool thing with our new promo library for flyers is that in the promo library, you can search because all of these flyers are tagged. So, example, I want flyers on headwear. It's going to bring up any flyers that we have in the library that are tagged with headwear. If you want to search by a specific supplier, every flyer is being tagged with that supplier name as well. So you can search for specific suppliers. You can search for self promos. And as we get these loaded, more and more flyers will be available. So that's where those are located. And the 2 new ones from Logo Here are loaded already. Bill, do you have anything else you want to add before we wrap up? We're right at that half-hour mark.
You know, I'm readily available. You can call me on my Logo Here promo number anytime you want to. Our friends in China, they're available anytime. Just, we're here to service you. We're working for you guys. And we'll help you. I mean, that's the bottom line. I want to help you grow your business, and I think I want you to be more profitable, and I want you to be more successful. I mean, we're really trying hard to work for you guys, and this is about as direct as you could possibly get to these factories. And if you can increase your margins, why are you working on a 40%? Or the other thing is, when you get the call, I know you get the calls, you all get them, where your customer says, hey, I just saw something on this website, or it's a highly competitive situation. Just get us involved, even on the small orders, 100-piece minimums, 200-piece minimums. So, and it's just as easy to buy product from us as it is any other supplier. Oftentimes we're faster, we're definitely less expensive. So thank you in advance for the opportunities that you're going to give us. And that's pretty much, my take on this whole thing.
Bill, I know for sure we've got 3 opportunities just from this call alone, from owners that have products that they supply to their customers regularly, and their prices have increased so much with their normal suppliers. So I know that we definitely have a couple opportunities coming your way to at least look into.
Good, awesome, and we appreciate every opportunity, big or small. They're all good.
Awesome.
Good. All right, I'm a phone call away. Looking forward to meeting you guys in person at one of the new, upcoming AIA events. Hope to be there. Stay in touch.
Thanks, Bill and Lori. Good camera time.
Thank you. Get your phones ready. They're already calling you.